हृदि निरन्तरं भासते स्वयं लिख्यते कथम् हृदयकुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता मज्जता पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम् देहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः ऊर्ध्वं विभाति स्वयं सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः ऊर्ध्वं विभाति स्वयं. Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday satsang from Ramanacentre Center for Learning, we will be reading from Guruvachaka Kovai, 2 verses. Each verse reading will be followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that shall be followed by a 10-minute practice of Atma Vicharam. After these 2 segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and the practice sessions are completed, there will be summing up remarks by our President, Dr. Sharadhaka, and that shall be followed by an offering of Sri Ramana Stotram by Vaibhavji and Prarthnama. Today we will be sitting in self-inquiry along with their chanting. We begin this satsang by taking the first verse, verse number 448. This is from the first segment, investigation into truth. The other 2 segments are meditation on the truth and experience of the truth. Verse 448, we find in investigation into truth. The subsegment is truths that should be thoroughly mastered. Truths that should be thoroughly mastered. 448. That which emerges as I in the body is indeed the mind. If one inquires from where it rises prior to its appearance in the body, the mind, will reach the heart. Mind, therefore, emerges only from the heart. There is a note taken from Who Am I essay version, Bhagavan. That which rises in the body as I is the mind. If one inquires, in which place in the body does the thought I rise first? It will be known to be the heart, Hridayam. That is the birthplace of the mind. So this subsegment perhaps takes the shape of verses culled out from the basic teachings of Bhagavan, where the truths, the underlying truths that he has stated, for us to directly go for Atmavicharam, have perhaps been summarized. This particular verse is truth mentioned in the essay version of Who Am I, and also the question and answer version of Who Am I, and also in Upadesha Saram. That which emerges as I in the body is indeed the mind. Now, mind is usually taken to be a huge flow of thoughts, and that too running at terrific speed. Then Bhagavan reduces it to a collection of thoughts, of which the I thought is the root. Since the I thought is the thought on which the other thoughts depend, the I thought itself is taken to be the mind. And this is a very important teaching, because earlier in Ullandanarpadu, Bhagavan would have taught that without a body there cannot be a world, without a mind there cannot be the senses or the world. Therefore, the world itself is made up of the mind. The entire world is made up of the mind. And in this verse, Bhagavan is taking that which is made up of, that which is making the world, the mind. What is that exactly? Can we pin it down to something in the shape of one thought, which we can take it to the source? Bhagavan here says, that which emerges as I in the body is indeed the mind. And for this, we see the verses 16, 17 and 18 of Upadesha Saram and 19. The verses go like this: Drishyavaritam Chittamatmanah Chitvadarshanam Tatvadarshanam. The first verse is Drishyavaritam Chittam, that consciousness which is going towards objects, if it can be turned around and made to seek the Atma, then the light of consciousness is directly felt. But in our day-to-day parlance, that is the Vedantic teaching of Drisya Viveka. In our day-to-day parlance, we don't access the Chitta directly, at least we don't talk in those terms. Therefore, Bhagavan gives us the next step, that which is called as Chitta in Vedanta, and which makes the Drisya Viveka very easy for those who are following Vedanta. The next verse is made applicable to all. Manasam tukim margane krite naiva manasam marga arjava. When the mind is sought to be found out as what is this mind, then there results that state where there is no mind at all. This is the direct path for all, says Bhagavan. Now, there too, the mind, what the mind is made of, is not delineated. The next verse, Vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha. So, vidya aham manaha. Vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha. The mind is nothing but vrittis or thoughts, and all the thoughts are having the ashraya or support of the I thought. Bhagavan in Who Am I says, only after the I thought arises, all the thoughts, all the other thoughts arise. Without the I thought being present, other thoughts cannot subsist. And I thought is the last thought to subside when we go to sleep. Therefore, this I, which is the beginning, middle, and end of all the other thoughts, is itself the mind. Vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha. The I thought itself is the mind. Now, all those multiplicity of thoughts of various types, we call them as gross thoughts, subtle thoughts, and vasanas. We call them as good thoughts and bad thoughts. We call them as cause and effect. We call them in so many ways. But all those divisions are now reduced to single one thought, the I thought. That makes the Atma Vicharan so direct that if you take the I thought to the source, then the whole mind goes to the source. So, vrittayastvaham vrittimashritaha vrittayo mano vidyaham manaha. So, in the body, in an earlier question in Who Am I, prior to the question number 9, Bhagavan says that that which arises as I in the body is the mind. So, that which emerges as I in the body is indeed the mind. If one inquires from where it rises prior to its appearance in the body, the mind will reach the heart. So that is the 19th verse of Upadeshasaram. Aham ayam kuto bhavati iti chinvataha aipatatyaham nijavicharanam. What is the true inquiry? Not into this thought or that thought. Aham ayam kuto bhavati. From where does this I thought arise? That means from where does this entire mind arises? And from the earlier verses in Ulladhanarpade, from where does this entire creation arises? Aham ayam kuto bhavati iti chinvataha aipatatyaham nijavicharanam. The I thought completely vanishes. It bows its head in shame and it merges into the self. Because its truth is not its independence. There is no independent existence for any of this. There is only independent existence for the self. Therefore, when inquired, what is this? Who am I? The I thought loses its false existence and merges into the source. The mind, therefore, emerges only from the heart. So, if one has to go to the heart, the self, then one has to take the I thought to the source. And that Bhagavan makes it very clear in this verse that the entire mind or the entire creation that is made of thoughts, that is made of thoughts, there is a dialogue between Bhagavan and a solicitor's daughter who has come from Chennai. In the talks, the lady asks, why should we do self-inquiry? Why should we do self-inquiry at all? Why are you telling that we should do self-inquiry, or who am I? Bhagavan says, why should you do? You just keep quiet, no, you be at peace. Then she says, no, that is not possible. I cannot be at peace. Bhagavan says, that is why self-inquiry has been given. And the lady asks, does that mean that this entire world is only made of my thoughts? Bhagavan says, let the world inquire from where it arose. You inquire from where you are arising. Let the world inquire into its source. You inquire into your source. Meaning, if you find your source, you will understand that that is the source of the world also. But the lady is not satisfied. She says, no, no, I want to particularly know, is this solid world that is seen by me, is it made of thought? Is it made of thought energy? Bhagavan says, when you are in sleep, the nature of your consciousness is such that the world has no capacity to appear. The world disappears in that state of consciousness. Only when you wake up, as I thought, this whole world appears. And when you go back to sleep, the all the other thoughts which rose with the I, they also subside, and the I thought also subsides. The world has no ability to exist on its own and reveal itself to you. Therefore, what else can this be? This is only thoughts. What else can it be? Asks Bhagavan. So he gathers all that. This is what the Guru does for us. This is called as the binding problem in philosophy. That the multiplicity and the transience are of such order that it is difficult for the mind to gather it all together. We will catch something, something will go off. We will say, now we have understood anger, there will be jealousy. That means anger will also be there. There is this incident where in one of the gurus from the North India, the Sishya, he says, Guruvale, I have now 1 hour anger. What is the difference between you and me now? And the Guru says, you wait. We can't tell like that. And 6 months later, when they meet a high official, the high official treats the Guru very badly. He throws him out of the office. And the Guru is silent, but the Sishya raises up. He catches hold of the coat of that high official. And then the Guru says, see, this is the difference. That you are assuming that you have won over the anger is not true. Unless the ego is completely subsided in the source, the ego cannot claim any of that. The same emotion will be present in some other way. Therefore, you cannot claim that, he says. Now, that binding problem is overcome by Bhagavan so beautifully for us. The multiplicity problem, have we covered everything? Have we covered all the bad emotions, all the good emotions, all the objects, all the thoughts? How to ensure that? Bhagavan says all are dependent on this I thought. Naan எழுந்த பின் எல்லாம் எழும். All arise only after the rising of the I thought. Take the I thought to the source, everything comes to the heart. But the teaching in this verse is that the mind is nothing but the I thought, and the I thought has its source in the heart. If one traces the source of the I thought, one reaches the Mukti Sthiti, the self. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us directly practice this truth that the source of the I thought is the silence, the maunam, the heart, where absolutely no other thought exists. That thought-free consciousness is the source of everything, and that is the seeker. The seeker who assumes that he is separate from the source loses that falsity of separation and merges into that source. With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in practice of Atma Vichara, of taking this I thought to the source for 10 minutes. Ritima, you can set the time for us?
Sure, Uncle.
नमो भगवते श्री रमणाय। Namo Ramana. We continued satsang by taking up the second verse, 723, verse number 723. This is from the segment Meditation on the Truth. The subsegment is the unity of Bhakti and Jnana. The unity of Bhakti and Jnana, 723. There is a huge note. Note is taken from Power of Presence. So we go to the verse. Having considered the qualifications of their disciples, even those jnanis who know that Bhakti and Jnana are one, single out one as superior to the other. This is to prevent those who have been pursuing the practice of one as preferable to the other from abandoning that one and hankering after the other. Having considered the qualifications of their disciples, even those jnanis who know that Bhakti and Jnana are one, single out one as superior to the other. This is to prevent those who have been pursuing the practice of one as preferable to the other from abandoning that one and hankering after the other. If one studies the flow of Bhagavad Gita, one will come across this that in each chapter, the path described in that chapter will be described as superior. It will not only be superior to the preceding one, if there is one, it will also be superior to the succeeding one. That means the media is of such nature that the Guru, the printed media is of such nature that in reading, whatever appeals to one will be given the Sreshtata. That person will have to take that as the Sreshta Marga, because the self is uniformly present everywhere. One can reach the self from any point. That's why Bhagavan says that when someone asks, can animals get mukti? Bhagavan says, why not? And there is the story of the shrub getting mukti, says Bhagavan, and narrates a story where the one who is realized is commanded by Shiva to give mukti to his attendant, and the attendant is given mukti and vanishes when the diksha is being given, and everyone accuses that saint for having captured that person and taken him somewhere. And the king is brought there, and the inquiry is made, and the Shiva devotee, the jnani, he says, this is what has happened, I have given him mukti. Then the king inquires, how is he eligible? He is merely your attendant. Then the jnani says, who am I to judge? Shiva said, release him, so I released. What? The king asked, if Shiva says you release this shrub, will you be able to release? Yes, let me see. And he looks at the shrub, and the shrub vanishes into the Chidakasha. It bursts and goes into the Chidakasha, and the king and the other people and the saint go into the shrine. into which the jnani could not go because of the prevention from the people. And when the harati is shown to Shivalinga, on one side is the shrub and the other side is the attendant, revealing that they were indeed liberated. Therefore, there is no great or small, there is no point in creation where self is not there. In fact, in the story of Kaduveli Siddhar, the Jnani Kaduveli Siddhar finally liberates a stone in front of the king, says, if I am unswervingly abiding in the self, let this stone burst and mix into the Akasha, and it bursts. Therefore, no path is great, no path is small. So, though the Jnani knows that both Jnana and Bhakti are the same, are one in the self, knowing fully well the path that is to be taught to that sadhaka, and which he has been following sincerely, saying and fighting, no, what jnana, it is useless tinsel. This is what I want to follow. No, suddenly if he is told both are same, then there is a doubt, and he goes after what is that? What could be in that path? And his sadhana goes down. And Bhagavan says in this verse that the jnani will not allow that confusion to set in, and will say, no, bhakti is greater. Bhakti is jnana mata. And to the one who has to follow jnana, he will put it appropriately and say that jnana is greater, but there is no great or there is no small. It is according to the qualifications of the disciple, which is very well known to the jnani. We go into the narrative. Since we do not know what is passing through the minds of devotees as they sit or stand in Bhagavan's presence, we cannot really ever be sure that we understand why Bhagavan responds to them in the way he does. His attitude towards giving out teachings illustrates this very well. A lot of people are under the impression that Bhagavan taught Advaitic philosophy all the time and prescribed self-inquiry to everyone who asked for his advice. This is simply not so. Bhagavan gave out different advice to different people. He would see the level of development and their temperament and react accordingly. One devotee might ask a question and be given an answer. If another devotee asks the same question a few minutes later, he might be given a different answer. So different, in fact, that it would contradict the first one. If each of these devotees acted on Bhagavan's advice with full faith in its efficacy, each would find that Bhagavan's grace was flowing into him. I can give a good illustration of Bhagavan's giving out contradictory advice by recounting two incidents that happened in the hall. A blind devotee called Kannappa once came to Bhagavan. While talking about this Kannappa, Bhagavan remarked, those who listen to his singing will forget the difference between day and night. Then why does he not sing? I asked. Kannappa then sang some songs from Tirupugal of Arunagirinatha. His singing was very sweet and his devotion brought tears to our eyes. We completely forgot ourselves. Soon afterwards, the bell rang for lunch. Bhagavan got up and rubbed his knees. Before he had a chance to leave, I told him how impressed I had been with the singing. How beautifully he sang. What melody, what devotion, I said. Not only that, he can imitate anyone, said Bhagavan as he was crossing the hall. Before he left, he turned back towards me and added, yes, he sang beautifully. But what is it to us? If we get immersed in that devotion, we'll be carried away. Then it will be difficult for us to get out of it. This person must have been one who is following the reason, the Jnana Margi. The strong emotions could be disturbing to the Jnana Margi if handled improperly. On the other occasion, the famous singer Sri Dilip Kumar Roy from Pondicherry came from Pondicherry and sang beautifully before Bhagavan. When the bell rang for lunch, Sri Roy put down his instrument, put his palms together in a gesture of respect and said to Bhagavan, I do not practice any yoga, nor do I know any philosophy. All I know is singing. My heart and my emotions have merged in this music. I want to reach God's feet by following this path. Do I have any hope? All I have is this little devotion, and that too I get only through singing. Bhagavan replied, yes, it is enough. It will take you to higher levels. When I translated these words for Sri Roy, he was so buoyed up by them. He touched Bhagavan's feet again and again. After he left the hall, Bhagavan turned towards me and said, Bhakti is the mother of jnana. Tell him that. I called to Roy and translated this additional remark for him. It pleased him so much. He again repeatedly touched Bhagavan's feet. In Kannappa's case, Sri Bhagavan cautioned us against devotional emotion, whereas in Roy's case, he said that bhakti was enough. Bhagavan had the ability to discern which path would benefit each devotee. He would encourage us all to follow the path he knew would be the easiest for us. And in the process, he would occasionally discourage us from digressing into other forms of sadhana. So though all the sadhanas are the self, Bhagavan will guide us into what is appropriate for us. What is not so strange is that we ourselves will find that when our guna varies between the sattva, rajas, and tamas, accordingly to the same sadhaka also, Bhagavan will inspire that now is the time to sing. Now is the time to read talks. Now is the time to read the stories. Now is the time to do self-inquiry. Now is the time to do self-inquiry for us. Let us sit in Atma Ucharan for 10 minutes. Revathi, you set the time for us. Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramana. Namo Ramana. I request our President, Dr. Shardaka, to give us the summing of remarks. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. It's a beautiful verse which we got from Bhagavan, talking about the equality of bhakti and jnana. At the same time, how each one is put on a pedestal in its time, in its place. We say actually, if we study, if we chant, if we listen to the Lalita Sahasranama, if we listen to the Vishnu Sahasranama, or different stotras and different gods, we will find in each one that particular god or goddess will be described as the sole power, as the all-inclusive power. And it will be said that all others in Lalita Sahasranama, it will be said Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, all are your Shakti, all are your power. Now, it is said in this way, exactly the point which is being given to us in this verse by Bhagavan, that in order to keep our attention and our faith focused, in order to keep our faith undisturbed, whole, and because they are all one. Now, if jnana and bhakti were different, it would not be possible to say that one is supreme or other is also supreme, because they would be different. But since they are the same, it does not matter if you say bhakti is full or if you say jnana is full, it does not matter. And it's very important to unify the concepts. This is what Nandakumarji pointed out to us in the exposition of the earlier verse of the day, which is to say how Bhagavan does the bundling of all the thoughts into the I thought. This is something very, very special in Bhagavan's way, where he says the I thought is itself the mind. Don't worry about all the various thoughts. So many thoughts may be there, may not be there. Don't worry about them at all, because the I thought is the mind. Similarly, if one understands this alone is the path, this is the path, it includes everything, then one's attention remains focused. It does not become dissipated. And the great ones never disturb anybody's faith. This is one incident in the life of my father. It happened that my mother's father, my grandfather, would had a special mantra which he got in a sort of a dream. It was not a dream also, it was a trance which he attended with a co-trance with another person, and then he got a mantra. And he was very sincerely practicing that mantra with all the faith that the mantra was given to him by none other than Swami Vivekananda in that trance. My father, with all good intentions, felt that this is not very appropriate. And he told him, no, you should get mantra from some regular guru, or then you should practice self-inquiry. That would be better since you are such a sincere sadhaka. But my grandfather was disturbed by it. He felt that whatever mantra he was practicing, whatever method he had been practicing all these years, was it a waste? And he was generally disturbed. So they decided to take the case to Swami Yatishwarananda of Ramakrishna Mission, and Ramakrishna Mission Swami Yatishwarananda. He told my grandfather, what you are practicing is perfectly right. It is absolutely valid. And my grandfather was happy, and in fact he continued that practice to almost 24/7. He would do japa right till his last breath. Now, after my grandfather left, Swami Yatishwarananda told my father, never disturb a person's faith. Natarajan, never disturb a person's faith. Because a faith is what takes one inward. It is the faith in Bhagavan, it is the faith in Bhagavan's words which give us the power to practice what he is saying. So the importance of not confusing a person is given over here in this verse. Sometimes we may even get disturbed by our own desires. So it's very important. So the Guru never allows us to waver from the chosen ideal. And this is what we see. Therefore, Bhagavan in one case says, Bhakti is supreme. In another case, he says, no, let us not get carried away by it. But whatever you are doing, you have to have full Shraddha in that. Another instance is there, which Nandakumarji has quoted to us earlier, of Bhagavan working in the kitchen with Kunjuswami. And at that time, Kunjuswami has a thought that maybe, instead of working in the kitchen, it would be better to be sitting and doing dhyana, to be doing self-inquiry. And Bhagavan tells him, no. If you are distracted while you're cutting vegetables should be your tapas, it should be your dhyana, it should be everything. Because if you are thinking of self-inquiry while cutting vegetables, then while doing self-inquiry, you may think, oh, I have forgotten to cut the vegetables. It would have been good to do seva for Bhagavan. I should have assisted him at that time. Such thoughts may come to you. So be fully focused on what you are doing. The Eka Chintana, the Eka Bhava is most important. And that's why we find in Bhagavan, we find the magnificent stories of Kaulakshmi, of Mutaliyar Pati, of Ramanatha Brahmachari, often quoted by Nanda Kumarji and many other devotees, simple devotees who just come to Bhagavan and they have the full faith in him. Very simple faith may be there. It may not be an extraordinary faith. One of the current president's grandmother's sisters, she would say, I cannot afford to go to a doctor or anything. I was diagnosed with a heart condition. Where can I go? I am just a poor lady. It's all right. Does not matter. Bhagavan has kept me comfortable. So what do? Early morning, I just take one pinch of Bhagavan's vibhuti. I put it into a glass of water and I drink it. And he has kept me fine. There is no problem with me. I'm fine. So it is a matter of faith. But can everyone do that? Everyone may not be able to do it. So if we have the analytical mind, then we have to follow the path of inquiry. We have to analyze. We have to completely go to the source. And we have to abide in the source. So that is why Bhagavan is the all-enveloping one. And the self cannot exclude anyone or anything. It is available to one and all. If it was available only through self-inquiry, it would not be available to animals and insects and other beings which do not use analysis and discrimination, but it is available to all. Therefore, it is very obvious that it cannot exclude any path, and it includes everything. And perhaps because of the fact that the discriminative faculty is there, because we cannot surrender completely, if we are unable to surrender. And how do we know we are unable to surrender? If a slightest question arises in our mind about anything or anyone in this world, if the slightest doubt arises in our mind about the rightness and wrongness of anything in this world, why should this be like that? Why should that be like this? Why should X behave like that? Why should Y behave like this? Why not do this? Why not do that? If such a thought arises in our mind regarding any issue whatsoever, it is very clear that we are not by nature surrendered, that our discriminative faculty is at work and it wants to assert itself. It wants to find out the right and the wrong. It wants to say, I think I am right, the other person is wrong, that situation was wrong. If such a discriminative faculty is playing its role out in our mind, it is important for us to transcend the limits and boundaries of that faculty by using self-inquiry. If we have complete acceptance, like Bhagavan says to Arunachala, Urayum Gunamum Ni Allal, Yenne Nivatrai. You are the good, you are the bad. When you are both, what will I think about? What do I have to think about? I have only love for you. Let that keep growing. Let it be a deluge of love for you. That will be our prayer. And Bhagavan is such a loving Sadguru that he allows us to have partial surrender also and partial inquiry also, and just keep practicing, keep holding until, as he says in his Ekashloki, Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri
Namo Ramnaka. Namo Ramnaka. May I request Vaidhavji and Pratnama to do the chanting, please? We'll all sit in self-inquiry.
नमो रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोत्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः चोर्णशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूणिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातीताय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उदितनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताशलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीषोणाचलऋग्वेदस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋक्षान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युत निज प्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिक महातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजनिं प्राप्यत। दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवश तादात्म्यभावं गतः। वृन्निष्ठस्वरवीर नित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट्। तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमैदम् लोकोत्तर ज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो रमणाय।